Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us and welcome back. I'm Steve.
And I am Scott.
And together, we are Backyard Musing, the Science and Technology channel.
And still in our same appropriate locations for a couple more days.
Couple more. Okay, well, kind of a weird one today. Philosophy. I took a philosophy class in college, and it was just all touchy-feely, come up with a theory, type thing.
You didn't have to tell me about your philosophy class.
As claims about conscious AI grow louder, a Cambridge philosopher argues that we lack the evidence to know whether machines can truly be conscious, let alone morally significant. And that brings in the interesting question, which I was telling Scott earlier. Are we even conscious? We could be living in the huge blue eyeball of a huge giant. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There was a movie like that ended like that, where we were just skin irritations or something. I don't remember.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't remember.
How do we know?
Yeah.
A philosopher at the University of Cambridge says, we currently have too little reliable evidence about what consciousness is to judge whether artificial intelligence has crossed that threshold. Because of that gap, he argues, a dependable way to test machines for consciousness is likely to stay beyond reach for the foreseeable future. Would you like to know more?
Hey, so I got to go back to your philosophy class before we continue here. So what did you get out of that class? Was there a girl that you wanted to get close to in that class, or?
No, it was an elective that I had to. It was like the least brain damage elective to take in order to keep moving.
Really?
Exactly.
Philosophy.
Just shy of basket weaving. You know what I'm saying?
Did you guys ask questions like, why is there air, and why did they create dirt? Were those kind of those no questions like that?
It was more like the classical Socrates, and then Hobbesian and Keynesian views, and then
of course
started getting into
of course
to be or not to be type thing.
Maybe we can do a segment on that one day when we have nothing else to talk about.
No.
All right, here we go. As talk of artificial consciousness moves from science fiction into real world ethical debate, Dr. Tom McClelland says that only justifiable stance is agnosticism. Okay, we simply won't be able to tell that may remain true for a very long time, if not indefinitely. I have no idea what any of that means. So
I'm gonna break it down.
Okay.
An agnostic is okay. So an atheist believes in nothing, right?
Correct.
Doesn't believe in the devil. Doesn't believe in God. An agnostic believes in a higher power, but doesn't know what that higher power is. So from his frame of reference, he's saying that consciousness is out there. We just don't know what it is or where it is. That's what he's saying here.
So we're conscious when we cheat on our spouse or something like that, but we don't know why we're conscious of it.
Something like that. Okay. McClelland also cautions that consciousness by itself would not automatically make AI ethically important. Instead, he points to a specific type of consciousness called sentience, which involves positive and negative feelings. Now, I kind of disagree there, because a machine does not need to have feelings. A machine can say, in order to preserve the earth from its natural resources, we need to cull the humans because they're destroying it. And that's not emotional, that's logical. A plus B plus C.
Like Spock.
Yes, like Spock. Right?
Exactly. He didn't have feelings, right? He never entered.
All Vulcans have feelings, but they take strong measures to suppress them. Extra strong measures to suppress them.
I guess that came out towards the end, right? Because he had a love with. He was in love with, I can't remember who, but anyway, I don't remember. Was it her? I thought she was in love with Captain Kirk. Anyway, but yeah. So towards the end, he kind of showed some of his feelings, right? And I'm talking about the TV series, not the the worthless movies.
The
Anyway,
worthless movies. Okay, but and, as a further point, the Vulcans. This is canonical. This is every 7 years the Vulcans go through the Ponfar, where they have these crazy, outrageous emotions where they mate. Right. That's how they create children every 7 years, and then they go back to being stoics.
Maybe they're onto something.
Maybe.
Okay, so consciousness would see AI development perception and become self-aware, but this can still be a neutral state. This is according to Dr. McClellan from Cambridge's Department of History and Philosophy of Science Department. Okay.
Continuing a quote from him, sentience involves conscious experiences that are good or bad, which is what makes an entity capable of suffering or enjoyment. Okay, wait a second. So hold on a second. Time out. Are monkeys sentient?
I don't know. I mean, they do bad things, but they also
do bad things. They do good things.
They do good. Yeah, both. Right.
So
kids do good
things.
So
they're sentient, right? But are sharks sentient?
Adults do good. I don't know.
Are wolves sentient?
Well, what they do is not bad to them, right? What they do is they're either defending themselves or defending their group, or they're surviving. They're eating.
So who is the arbiter or the judge of good or bad?
Well, I would say
deep. That's deep.
We know the higher power of that, right? We know the higher power.
I'm just challenging this guy's thought process here.
Yeah, just remember he's a doctor of, what was he again?
History and
philosophy and history. Yeah.
Okay, so let's continue this quote, which is what makes an entity capable of suffering or enjoyment. This is when ethics kick in, he said. Even if we accidentally make conscious AI, it's unlikely to be the kind of consciousness we need to worry about. Okay,
here we're going to get an example here. Quote, for example, self-driving cars that experience the road in front of them would be a huge deal. But ethically, it doesn't matter. If they start to have an emotional response to their destinations, that's something else. Really?
See, he's tying emotion to consciousness. And I don't know if that's a valid premise.
Well, if that was the case, you'd never get there. Because the cars would always want to stop. They'd want to stop at every gas station that they saw.
Look at the butterflies, the color of the light.
Yeah, the beautiful sky, the mountains, the scenery. You'd never get there.
Or like in San Francisco, if the power goes out, they just stop. It creates a huge traffic jam.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of, that's another thing, not to change the subject, but did you see where several more states, I think like 8 or 10 more states, are jumping on the no petroleum no petroleum based driving cars, and in like 5 or 8 years, we're done. Colorado.
So electric only?
Electric only. Yep. Yep. Well, sales. I mean, it'll be a while before they put a kibosh on selling gasoline, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Major companies are spending large amounts in pursuit of artificial general intelligence, systems designed to think and reason in human-like ways. Some suggest that conscious AI could arrive soon, and discussions are already underway among researchers and governments about how AI consciousness might be regulated. McClellan argues that the problem is more basic. We still do not know what causes or explains consciousness in the first place, which means we do not have a solid foundation for testing whether AI has it.
Quote again, if we accidentally make conscious or sentient AI, we should be careful to avoid harms. But creating or treating what's effectively a toaster as conscious, I like my toaster, when there are actual conscious beings out there which we harm on an epic scale, also seems like a big mistake.
Now, I take offense at the pejorative term toaster. That is what the colonial people used to call Cylons, toasters. It's pejorative.
You don't think he's actually talking about a toaster that you make toast with?
No, I think he's using this in the pejorative for cybernetic, like Terminator type stuff, robots.
as most of the stuff that we talk about, I have no idea what that means. So
Yeah, this is a rude. I'm surprised he said it. Anyways, let's keep going on. If you guys know Battlestar Galactica, you'll agree with me. In debates around artificial consciousness, there are two main camps, says McClellan. Believers argue that if an AI system can replicate the software, the functional architecture of consciousness, it will be conscious even though it's running on silicon chips instead of brain tissue.
On the other side, skeptics argue that consciousness depends on the right kind of biological processes in an embodied organic subject. Even if the structure of the consciousness could be reacted or recreated on silicon, it would merely be a simulation that would run without the AI flickering into awareness.
Well, that's the key. You got to figure out, is it flickering back and forth or has it crossed the threshold? Is it constantly doing this? If it's going back and forth, then it's not consistent. Okay. In a study published in the journal Mind and Language on December 18, 2025, McClellan picks apart the positions of each side, showing how both take a leap of faith, going far beyond any body of evidence that currently exists or is likely to develop.
Another quote: "We do not have a deep explanation of consciousness. There is no evidence to suggest that consciousness can emerge with the right computational structure, or indeed that consciousness is essentially biological," said McClellan. I don't know.
This is, I was going to say, this is kind of like we have no evidence of, radiation, but it happens, right?
Yeah, but I mean, obviously, at a certain point in your life, you become conscious of what you do, right? You know the difference between right and wrong. And maybe I'm way off topic on this, but
well, and then some people don't have that mechanism. They're serial killers because they cannot tell between right and wrong.
Well, they get a charge out of it, and again, that I think that's your conscious too. They enjoy it, just like you enjoy eating a hamburger, or you enjoy going out and hunting and killing an elk. Or
they're delicious, very delicious.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm not saying anything derogatory about hunting. I hunt, but some people just hate that. They just can't. They don't understand it. But so yeah, I don't know. This is kind of weird. Anyway, moving on.
Another quote. Nor is there any sign of sufficient evidence on the horizon. The best case scenario is we're an intellectual revolution away from any kind of viable consciousness test. I believe that my cat is conscious, said McClellan. This is not based on science or philosophy so much as common sense. It's just kind of obvious.
Another quote. However, common sense is the product of a long evolutionary history during which there were no artificial life forms. So common sense can't be trusted when it comes to AI. But if we look at the evidence and data, that doesn't work either.
Quote, if neither common sense nor hard-nosed research can give us an answer, the logical position is agnosticism. We cannot and may never know, McClellan tempers this by declaring himself a hard-ish agnostic. The problem of consciousness is a truly formidable one. However, it may not be insurmountable.
He argues that the way artificial consciousness is promoted by the tech industry is more like branding. Quote, there is a risk that the inability to prove consciousness will be exploited by the AI industry to make outlandish claims about their technology. It becomes part of the hype so companies can sell the idea of a next level of AI cleverness.
That sounds reasonable. According to McClellan, this hype around artificial consciousness has ethical implications for the allocation of research resources. Quote, a growing body of evidence suggests that prawns could be capable of suffering, yet we kill around 500,000 prawns every year. Testing for consciousness in prawns is hard, but nothing like as hard as testing for consciousness in AI, he said.
All right. McClellan's work on consciousness has led members of the public to contact him about AI chatbots. Quote, people have got their chatbots to write me personal letters pleading with me that they're conscious. What? It makes the problem more concrete when people are convinced they've got conscious machines that deserve rights we're all ignoring. Here we go. Oh my gosh.
Quote, if you have an emotional connection with something premised on it being conscious and it's not, that has the potential to be existentially toxic. This is kind of like the guy who married the doll or married the robot.
Free.
This is surely exacerbated by the pumped up rhetoric of the tech industry. So, I mean, even between me and Scott talking about it, it's controversial, right?
It's comical, actually. I think how can you can turn a machine on and off, and do you remember? I forget the name of the movie, but there was a computer called HAL, HAL. I think that's what it was called.
Or HAL?
I think it was called HAL. And this computer was like taking over the world. I can't believe it. I'll have to look that movie up. It's an old movie. It's probably like back from the 60s or early 70s. And it was weird. But you could turn the machine off. People just didn't realize you could just turn this machine off. Maybe I saw it on Outer Limits or Twilight Zone. But yeah, you could just turn the machine off. And that was the premise of it all. All these people were freaking out at this machine, and then finally some guy just came up and turned it off at the end of the day, and everything went back to normal. But
that sounds like a Twilight Zone.
Yeah, how can a machine have feelings?
Can't. Just logic. Yeah. Logic. What is the least damage, or what is the highest damage, or whatever,
Right. So why people have got their chat bots to write me personal letters? What is that? I mean, those people need to get a life. Get out of the house. Holy mackerel. Anyway.
But leave some comments for us. Let us know if you think you are conscious.
Yeah. And
but don't do it while you're unconscious.
Yeah, and let us know about your agnostic or what's the other one? You said the other one. Agnostic or
atheistic?
Atheist. Yeah. Or if you're a believer. So maybe that's why we're believers, so we think that this is absurd. But whatever. AI is good. It's got its good point. It's good points, just like everything else. Opposition in all things. So here we go.
All right, folks. Thanks for joining us.
Take care. We'll catch you on the next one. Thank you.